Today's the 27th of November. Last night, I got a message from my co-presenter Norrie Hunter, which surprised me. I mean, I'm surprised by anything, especially things that Norrie says, but there's not anything usually that surprises me in this country. But I have to say I was surprised when Norrie told me that the Two Davies, our fellow broadcasters, have both been arrested by the Scottish police. Now, at first I was taken aback and asked Davy why have they been arrested? What have they done that was so egregious that the police needed to arrest them? And apparently they were arrested for supporting Palestinian Action, or Palestine Action. Now, this is something which has been happening a lot, obviously, in the rest of the UK. The British government decided to criminalise the charity, I think it's called Palestinian or Palestine Action. And people have been arrested for such minor offences as holding up pieces of paper with that name written on them, or wearing T-shirts emblazoned with those words. So I don't know what exactly it was that the Two Davies have supposedly done to attract the attention of the police. And even more mystifying, in my opinion at least, is the fact that, as we all know, Scots law applies north of the border. It's actually part of the Treaty of Union and the Articles of Union and the Acts of Union, which state that Scots law will persist in all time coming and English law will persist south of the border. So why is it that the Scottish police have arrested the Two Davies? Because under our laws, at least, that shouldn't be possible, because what they've done, the Scottish Police Scotland, what they've actually done is imposed an English law in Scotland. Now, an English law doesn't apply here, and I think this would be the time actually to mount a test case to challenge this kind of action by Police Scotland. Now, I have a lot of things to say about Police Scotland, and I put the word Scotland in inverted commas here because it's very obviously not the Scottish police that are really behind this. Because if you think about it, police officers generally spend their lives trying to protect people from real criminals. You know, they're trying to protect them from burglaries, from robberies, from violence, and to arrest two peaceful people who do nothing more than broadcast in support of independence for Scotland, simply for supporting this charity, and I emphasise the word, it is a charity which supports the people of Palestine, I find just absolutely incredible, especially in Scotland. So where did the order come from to arrest these two men? And who gave that order? Because I can't see a local bobbies in any Scottish town, village or city rushing to the doors of these two gentlemen to arrest them for something which plainly isn't a crime. It's not violence, it's not a robbery, it's not fraud. It isn't a crime, certainly not in Scots law, to support any charity for any cause whatsoever. You don't hear of people being arrested and charged for wearing a T-shirt which says support Israel or Israeli action. No, nobody sees that. Or support Russia or Russia's actions. Nobody sees that. Freedom of expression is supposedly one of the pillars of the British societal system, that we all have the right to express our opinions publicly, except for people who express an opinion supporting this one single organisation, which the English government has prescribed as a criminal or illegal organisation, a terrorist organisation. And when Norrie said to me that the Two Davies had been arrested on terrorism charges, I'm thinking, what the hell did they do? You know, did they make a bomb or something? No, they didn't. They just expressed their support for a charity. It's unbelievable in the 21st century that an English law can be imposed on people of Scotland simply for expressing their opinion. Now, I'm deliberately staying out of the actual argument about Palestine and Israel here, but if you take it as a test case, the two sides of this argument are not even related to Scotland in any way. They have no political angle to them really here in Scotland. And if you think about it, I mean, I live in Glasgow, and all around me I see Palestinian flags flying from people's windows. In fact, there's one opposite me right now. And also flying from the flagpoles of public buildings. Now, these are clearly support for the state of Palestine. Are Police Scotland going to go and arrest every member of Glasgow City Council for flying a Palestinian flag? Because it's plain to me that that expresses support for Palestine and the people of Palestine in an institution which is supposed to represent all of the people of my city. Does that make me a sort of accessory after the fact that I live in a city where the local council expresses support for the people of Palestine? Well, I don't know. But how far does this go? Because if you take this to its logical extreme, once they start prescribing organisations which they don't like, just simply because they don't like them, then where does that end? And why has the Labour Party not repealed this ridiculous piece of legislation? Whether you agree or not about Palestine or Israel and the various solutions that have been proposed to end the violence between the two peoples doesn't matter. But the fact that you can be arrested as a criminal for expressing an opinion on one side of the argument only begs the question, well, why does the English government support the other side of the argument? Because obviously that's what this means. If they're shutting off support to a charity which is there to support the refugees from this war, because that is essentially what this organisation is set up to do, then where does that end? How many other organisations are they going to prescribe? Now, when you think about this for a moment, usually the British government criminalises organisations or activities which might threaten the integrity of the United Kingdom or its security. And it could be argued that anyone who supports independence is expressing an opinion that the United Kingdom should be broken up. And surely that would be prescribed as well. That would make the SNP illegal, and that would make my programmes illegal. And that would mean that virtually every independent supporter in Scotland is a criminal, and that would be at least half the population. Where does this end? Because it seems to be perfectly all right to criminalise an organisation which supports the people in a war-torn part of the world, which has nothing to do with us. And yet back at home, where there actually is a threat to the integrity or the security of the United Kingdom by us, they do nothing. There's a double standard operating here, and it mystifies me. But as I say, this is a one-topic show today. I want you to tell me what you think of this. The fact that the Two Davies have been arrested for this seems to me to be an outrageous overreaction to something which is so tiny, and it's not even illegal under Scots law. It can't be, because we don't apply English laws in Scotland because of the acts and treaties and articles of union which say that our laws are in force here at all times. So the only way that this could possibly have happened is if the order to arrest anyone supporting this organisation was made, perhaps, just guessing here, by somebody senior in the English police who's passed this order along to the chief police officers in Scotland and told them to prosecute anybody in Scotland who shows any signs of supporting this organisation as well. To me, this smacks of overkill. This is a tactic which is used to intimidate people, where you attack the people who really don't have any defence, the people who are least able to defend themselves and probably least likely to expect a knock on the door at 5 in the morning by the police for simply wearing a t-shirt, holding up a piece of paper, or even mentioning the words. So it's designed really to scare us all so that nobody expresses an opinion about this organisation in favour of it at all. It's to be shut down. It's perfectly okay to express the opposite opinion, but not this opinion. This opinion doesn't match with what the UK thinks. Now, it could well be that the United Kingdom is following the United States in this regard and is supporting Israel against Palestine. It could be. I don't know, but the British government, or should I say the English government, tends to, whatever the Americans do, tends to follow along with it and then makes it sound like it was their idea all along. To me, this just smacks of the start of a wedge being driven in, and we don't know what comes next. What other organisations will they prescribe next? And will they include us? Because I think that's the implication in this. Anybody who rocks the boat, as far as the UK is concerned, and defies them, is likely to be arrested under some spurious terrorist charges that they've concocted because they don't like people expressing their opinions on some matter or other which they disapprove of. This is very Orwellian. George Orwell would probably be shocked, actually, to see how far the British state has slipped down into the rabbit hole of authoritarianism, verging on being a fascist state. And it's a worrying sign of the disintegration of Western democracies in general, that we have authoritarians like Trump in office in the United States, and an authoritarian who can't seem to keep an idea in his head longer than half an hour and gets all of his political information from X or Elon Musk. So we live in dangerous times, but I think we have to keep our own faith in our own cause as well. The cause of freedom for Scotland is not going to die out just simply because we get banned from talking about it or wearing t-shirts. The word will keep going, and people will, even more, I think, will react to this and kick back against it, because the more they try and force us down, the more they try to repress our opinions, the more strongly they're felt and the farther they spread. And that's been shown in history time upon number. Anyway, that's it from Inde-Car today. If you have an opinion about this topic, please let me know. I'd be interested to hear your comments on the arrest of the Two Davies and what you think might be behind it. Anyway, that's it from Inde-Car today. I'll see you again on Friday with Norrie Hunter in our Hodma Jacob programme, which will be going out as usual at 9:30 on Friday morning. In the meantime, as I always say, keep the faith, and I'll see you next time on Inde-Car. Bye for now.